Hello friends, myself Sagar from SJ Tech, and today I'll be covering tutorial 1 introduction as part of the course Spring Boot RESTful Web Services tutorials. Now let's see the content of today's session. So in this session we'll first see how to set up a Spring Boot project. Then we will see how to implement a GET request for our accounts REST API. Then we're going to discuss about the annotations and the entity that we have used while implementing a GET request, and then we will do a quick demo. Now let's go ahead and create a Spring project for us. So to create a Spring Boot project, click on this Spring Starter project for us. So this would be a template. So this template we will use to create our first project. Now once you have provided the valid details, click on next, and then you select a dependency that you want to put into the project. Now to create a REST API, the dependency that we required is web. So select the web and then click on finish. I will not create a project right now because I have already created project for today's session. Now we'll discuss how to implement a REST API in Spring Boot. So to implement it, we will first see what is the application class. So when you create a Spring Boot project with the steps that I have mentioned you, so this particular class has been already packaged into the project. So when you see this class, it contains a main method which is invoking a run method of Spring application class. So this would be an entry point for your application. Okay. So this is not a case wherein you will create a var for your application. You start a before starting Tomcat, you put your var into the Tomcat, and then you start a Tomcat so that your REST API will get published on the server. So this is not the case with Spring Boot. So it works like a standalone Java project. So that is why we have a class with a main method. Okay, and the annotations that I have used here is @Spring Boot application. Now let's see the controller. So the controller is the important part of this project because we will going to do a development in this particular class. Why? Because what is the work of controller? Okay, so let's say the server is up. Okay, you have sent a request. Okay, so you need to, so this controller will map a request with the method that should get executed to get the response for that particular request. In this controller, we have used annotation called @REST controller. Okay, and right now for this session, the requirement we have is to implement a GET request which will give account name, okay, as part of the response. So the only requirement is to get the account name, okay, as part of the response. So we have implemented a method called get account name, which is returning an object of response entity. We will discuss what is this response entity. Now this method has been annotated with annotation called @request mapping. Now this annotation has two fields, value and method. So value contains the relative path and method is the HTTP method which is mapped with this particular method. So when you hit a URL, okay, in browser with a path called /accounts, so at the backend the controller get to know that yes, we got a request from this path, and I know that this path is mapped with this particular method, so it executes this method, we get a response is generated, and that response has been given back into the request. So in this way it works. So you send a request, server get to know that yeah, this request has been mapped with this method, it execute that particular method, generate a response, and again send this response back to the browser. Okay, so this is how it works. Right now it is very simple because we only have implemented a GET request, and as you can see we have hard coded the name, okay, dummy account. Okay, in the future sessions we're going to update it from the database. We'll get the data from the database. Okay, now let's discuss about the annotations that we have used here. So the annotation that we have used here is, the first one is @REST controller. So @REST controller is said to be a convenience annotation. So this annotation and Spring Boot application, both known to be a convenience annotation. Now @REST controller inherits @controller and @response body. So let's suppose you are not using this annotation, okay, and you want to implement a REST API. Then your controller class need to have this annotation, needs to be annotated with @controller and a method, okay, and the method that we implement, let's suppose get account name, which is returning at response entity. Then you need to annotate this method in the return type with @response body annotation. So what is the significance of this annotation? So this annotation actually tells that serialization need to be take place, okay, from the Java object to the HTTP response body, okay. So that is, if you so that is why we have this @REST controller. So when you use this annotation, you don't need to separately add @response body in each method that you want a response to be given back for that pull request. So this is the ease of using this annotation. Next thing is @request mapping. So when you use this annotation, it actually maps a request with the method. Next thing is Spring Boot application annotation. So this annotation inherits these three annotation: @configuration, @enable auto configuration, @component scan. So @configuration annotation is used to give a Java configuration, okay. So let's suppose you have a class and then you have annotated with @configuration, and that class has some methods which is annotated with @bean annotation, which is returning back the beans. So then you are telling Spring that this particular class is used to configure beans in the application context. Now next, the significance of @enable auto configuration is when you use this annotation, it actually scans the class path and automatically creates bean and register it with the application context, okay. Next is the @component scan. Now @component scan annotation is telling Spring that this particular class need to be registered as part of the application context. So as you can see, the use of these three annotation is same. What we are doing ideally is we are creating a beans, okay, and we are registering this bean into the application context. Although the way of doing the task is different, but the result would be same. So it is recommended to use one annotation instead of having annotations, using the annotation, these three annotations, okay. So now next we'll see the response entity. Now the response entity will give you a control over the headers that you are sending back, over the response body that you are sending back, and over the HTTP status, okay. So that is how these annotations work, how this entity works, and this is the significance of all of them. Now we will do a quick demo. So as you can see, now here I am not starting a Tomcat server, that is I have already told this. What we will do here is we start the application as a plain Java application, okay. So when you start, so this would be start like a standalone Java application, okay, and it already contains, so when this application has been started, so it starts the embedded Tomcat container will get started, and your REST API get published into that container. And if you see the logs, you will get to know that the Tomcat started on the port 8080. So we'll go back to browser and then we'll see. So when you hit this particular request, you get a response dummy account that we have hard coded in the code. So as you can see, so this is the beauty of Spring Boot. In this session you will see that how easy it is to create a REST API, how easy it is to develop a REST API, and how fast it is to up that project and get your REST API published. Okay, now in the upcoming session we will see how to develop a full-fledged REST API, and then we will use this particular account API only, and then we will develop we will implement different methods to it. We add a different Spring Boot concept into it. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you.